I think we still have one of our witnesses, Amanda Brewer, on the phone. Amanda, if you're still with us, maybe you could tell it better than I am. For people who are just joining us now, right around 8:45 tonight, you were one of the people who called 911, correct? What prompted that initial call?
Yeah, we heard the gunshots first at 8:39. We heard 5 gunshots, and I called 911 at 8:40. They said that they had already had someone call in and that police were reporting to the scene, and we heard sirens in our neighborhood by 8:42. So they were here really quickly.
Within minutes, wow.
Yes. And then the police were sweeping the area. We have a lot of forest area in our neighborhood, so they were shining lights in the forest, and it was pretty quiet for a while until 9:12, and then there were a lot of gunshots, probably somewhere between like 15 and 25 gunshots in that minute or two. More quiet, and then there was a significant amount of gunshots right before 10 p.m., and then, yeah, we heard the helicopter come around 10:05. There were more gunshots after that, and then by 10:17, there was a really large crash, which we assumed was the helicopter.
Amanda, this might be impossible to answer, but when you heard the large number of gunshots fired, both at around 9:15 and 9:55, or before the top of the hour, could you tell, was it all coming from one direction, or was it coming from two directions, like people were shooting at each other? Is it possible to even tell?
I couldn't really tell. The gunshots were very quick together, so it sounded like a lot of them were coming from one gun, but I really couldn't tell.
That's okay.
It was all very close to our house, so it seemed like just in between Mark Lane and I believe it's Shelley.
Yeah. What did the shelter-in-place order tell you to do? Did you get like a ding on your phone, an alert on your phone?
Yeah, we got one of those like really loud, obnoxious alerts on the phone, like one of those emergency alerts. And it was honestly very short. It just said, Flagstaff police, armed and dangerous situation in the Mark Lane area. Black male suspect, avoid the area. And that was at 9:17 p.m. So by then,
just real quick, what did they say about the suspect? How did they describe him?
They described him as a black male suspect.
A male, okay. And one?
Yeah. Yes, they only put one on there.
Okay. So from the time that you got that initial alert to the time that you got the all clear that it had been lifted, how long were you told to shelter in place inside your home?
We got probably just a little over an hour, but we didn't get that first iPhone alert until the gunshots had already been going on for probably over 30 minutes.
Yeah. And it looks like on the map that neighborhood butts right up to a big forested area. It looks like there's a lot of forest between your neighborhood and like where the Lowell Observatory is. It looks just kind of pretty rural. Is that the area where this helicopter went down, or did the helicopter go down like right in the neighborhood?
No, right behind the neighborhood there's a hill that the Lowell Observatory is right on top of.
Yeah.
So in between our houses, there's a railroad track, and then it looks like the helicopter went down right on the railroad track or right in that area. All of the fire trucks and police were able to get to that fire very, very quickly, and I think it's because they just accessed that emergency road or that forest road right there.
Yeah. And again, we know no officers were hurt in the shooting itself, but we're still waiting to see if anyone survived that DPS chopper crash. Amanda, we don't want to speculate here, but we do want to hear your witness account of what you heard right before the helicopter crash. Can you walk us through that? You said you did hear gunshots right at that moment?
Yes, there were gunshots about 5 minutes before it, quite a lot. And then right as we heard the helicopter above our house circulating, there were probably 3 to 4 gunshots, and then it sounded like the blades had stopped on the helicopter.
As in it got quiet, or it made a weird noise?
It got quiet, like abnormally quiet. You could tell the helicopter was right above our house, and then it just was quiet, and then there was a huge crash. And
it immediately burst into flames? On impact?
We couldn't tell. We definitely heard the crash at 10:17, and then there was a very, very large fire by like 10:18, 10:19. So I couldn't tell you if it was exactly instantaneous or not.
And there were firefighters on scene pretty quickly.
I couldn't tell if they were firefighters or not. Definitely police force. They started running up the hill, but it was a chaotic scene because right as that crashed, there was still more gunshots after that. It sounded like, to us at least, and so we weren't sure if they even had the suspect at that point or not. It looked like a pretty chaotic scene of police officers rushing to go help, but then still managing the gunman situation.
My gosh. So how quickly walk me through the timeline. So the helicopter went down, it burst into flames, and then you heard gunfire continue after the chopper crashed?
I thought we did. I had been texting my family pretty much every time that there was another round of shots, and I had texted them at 10:17 saying there was a huge crash, and then I texted them again at 10:23 saying there were more shots. So I think that's what I heard, but I'm not 100% certain. And we were really unsure of if they even had the suspect in custody. And once we saw the flames, because we do butt up to such a foresty area, we just started packing stuff up. So we were kind of frantic in our house too.
And then, so that went down 10:17, 10:18. And then when did you get notified that the shelter-in-place order was lifted? How quickly soon thereafter?
It was around 11 o'clock.
Okay, so it was still another 40 minutes, 50 minutes.
Yes,
Well, have you spoken to your neighbors? I mean, this has to be the most shocking thing your neighborhood has ever lived through or witnessed.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a very, very safe, quiet neighborhood. So even to hear the gunshots was extremely startling. And then it felt like it was it was like a 2-hour gun standoff with shots ringing out so many times. I think overall we had probably close to 100 shots that occurred in that 2-hour period. We were texting with our neighbor a little, just asking, like, do you know what's going on? And then we were relying a little bit more on the Facebook group between the neighborhood, and we're not sure what's true on there or not.
Sure.
They had posted some things about the gunman was up on a roof at one point shooting, and then there are other reports of some people who have passed away in the neighborhood. So we don't know if any of that's true or not, but that's just kind of what's circulating on the Facebook page.
Right. As far as we know from police and law enforcement in Flagstaff, they have not told us about any injuries or deaths as a result of the shooting or the helicopter crash.